Now, maximizing non-physical abilities.
All right, a lovely panel there with one of our keynote speakers for today. A big thank you to Ishwara and to Alyssa for moderating. And with Chicago Fire FC right here in my backyard, it is tremendous to see what the future looks like for that club. They play at Soldier Field, a historic venue downtown, of course, where the Chicago Bears currently play too. So wishing all the best with Ishwara and the soccer club there. All right, our next panel includes a couple of doctors, so you know that you're about to learn something. It's going to make you smarter. Please enjoy a discussion on how training the brain, the eye, and other types of non-physical abilities can improve sports performance.
Hello, everyone. I want to welcome everyone to the session on maximizing non-physical abilities. Thank you, everyone who joins us. Thank you, Owen, Tomer, Fernanda, and the entire Colosseum team for continuing to organize the Sportic Nation Summit. Especially in today's ever-changing world, the Sportic Nation Summit adds value to the ongoing changes, the global challenges, and the evolution of sports and the evolution sport is going through. In this panel, we will discuss and explore some of the non-physical aspects that technology can provide when trying to maximize abilities. That includes neurofeedback training, eye training that can lead to better and quicker decision-making under pressure, brain exercise through virtual reality, and other tech non-physical aspects that pertain to sports related to psychology, mental health, and more. I'm Dr. Yoav Dubinsky from the Lundquist College of Business at the University of Oregon. With me on the panel are Dr. Konstantin Sonkin, co-founder and CEO of iBrain Tech, Dr. Cheryl Calder, founder and CEO of iGym, and Ugo Pardo, founder of Mantis VR and former professional goalkeeper. Dr. Konstantin Sonkin, co-founder and CEO of iBrain Tech. Hi, we will start with you. Konstantin, what form of training does your technology support and why is it important?
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for the opportunity. As a neuroscientist, I have been always interested in how our brain works, and more specifically, how our brain controls movements. And during my postdoctoral studies at Tel Aviv University here in Israel, I focused on recovery of people who lost mobility due to brain injuries, where brain is impaired, but the problem is paralysis, right? And later at iBrain Technologies, we focused on other very similar population of people who want and need to move better and who work hard every day to improve their skills on the field. Of course, I'm talking about athletes, and we developed a neuroscientific brain training platform to allow athletes to improve their abilities by directly training the most important organ, their brain. In the end of the day, when we train specific actions on the field again and again, we're developing optimal motor control program for our brain, and then we record it down to create automatism. Would it be soccer player, footballer, or basketball? It's all the same. We do exercises again and again, but in the end of the day, regarding the sport-specific actions, we're training the brain primarily. And there is a way to directly work on developing capabilities of the brain by exercising specific brain regions. The same way you go to the gym, you do specific exercises. As a response, your muscles grow. The same applies to the brain. You exercise specific brain regions, and as a response, they physically grow. More and more neurons involved and more and more connections established. At iBrain, we have developed a video game that you control with your mind effort only. You put on a cap, brain sensor cap, and you need to visualize sport-specific actions in vivid details. For instance, in soccer, kicks, passes. An avatar will execute them. The better you activate your brain regions while visualization, the better your game performance. And as you can see, immediate feedback of your brain effort, you can exercise, you can train regions of the brain to develop performance in sports. This off-the-field training has been implemented already in 6 countries, and the results are truly inspiring, with athletes dramatically improving their abilities on the field. So this is in a nutshell about brain training for sport.
Thank you. Dr. Cheryl Calder, founder and CEO of iGym, welcome to Sport Tech Nation 2021. Cheryl, I know that you have worked with a number of professional athletes and clubs in various sports, from hockey to soccer to rugby, to name a few. How do you train the brain to see more and make quicker decisions? How does this form of training help athletes perform better in games?
Yeah, so I think, thank you for the opportunity, first of all. I'm a sports scientist, and I realized as a young athlete when playing international sport that these skills are trainable skills. So I started exploring it, and I showed in my PhD that the eyes can be trained, the brain can be trained, the response skills can be trained, and you can train decision making as well. So I found ways of doing that. I started initially training athletes manually, and I remember in my really early 2000s, I was working with the international rugby team in New Zealand, and I realized that at that time I could train them, but I needed to then leave a training program with them. And then I also realized very quickly I needed to monitor the individual or the team as well. And out of that, iGym really grew. And, I have a database of hundreds of thousands of elite athletes, what they need, how they train, what the parameters are. So this database is enormous. And out of that, over the years, I've created a product called iGym. It's an online training program, which you can access anywhere in the world. And initially, we had it only for the elite athletes we were dealing with. And then quickly realized, we can change people's lives and make it available to anyone in the world. And out of that, other than working in sport, we've now started working in different walks of life. So it's very much a trainable skill. It's not something that you're bored with. It's something that you physically can train as well.
Thank you. Urko Pardo, founder of Mentis VR, thank you for joining us today. Urko, as a professional goalkeeper, how did your playing career lead to identify a need for a vision training tool to help you perform better in a game?
So first of all, thank you for having us today with you. It's an honor to share the panel with doctors and the companies that are so exciting. So look, during my whole career, I was always curious about how to improve my vision and my mental skills. And as an athlete, you have to react to what is happening on the game. And you have to do it quickly and efficiently. That's why the vision training tools are crucial if you want to perform and to succeed in the elite. For example, in Mentis VR, we analyze and we train the cognitive aspect of the athlete. We work on attention, we work on perception, we work on the ability to make quick decisions during the game. And we call it proactive cognitive training. And to do so, we use VR, so virtual reality. For us as a company, it's very important that athletes can also exercise their mental skills in a real environment. Because at the end of the day, that is where the game is happening. Plus, in Mentis VR, we build a platform where we collect and analyze every specific data of every training. And for us, it's the perfect tool to improve.
Thank you. Konstantin, what about amateur athletes? As a scientist and an expert in the area, how does the brain differ among elite athletes and amateur athletes? Is there a clear difference in brain activity?
Thank you. With the massive development of sports science, colleagues, do you hear me well?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
For a second, I lost you. My apologies. So with the massive development of sports science and data analytics, professional athletes achieve highest level of physical performance. And in addition, professional athletes, especially in technically complex sports, usually develop outstanding abilities to perform these actions automatically without need to think really about them. And maybe you remember an experiment with Cristiano Ronaldo when he needed to finish the corner kick in complete darkness. It was just like outstanding how a person could calculate the trajectory of the ball by just hearing the sound of the pass. And for me as a neuroscientist, the obvious answer is that his mental computer that computes sport-specific actions and planning is so well developed, so he can project, right? Just having very limited inputs, automatically compute everything and then execute even without visual stimulus in complete darkness. It's important to remember that these abilities are a result of optimization of brain performance. And I always remember smart people telling me that if you don't measure stuff, you don't really manage it. This is why iBrain always measure brain activity first, and only after that creates on top of that intervention training program for the specific brain regions, so we can track how they really develop over the time. And it's also very important for me to add that unique time window for that direct brain development is between 13 and 19 years old. So youth, semi-professional dreamers who want to be next Cristiano Ronaldo's, I think they can benefit from our off-the-court cognitive training the most, because their time to train is really limited. They have school, they have all other life activities they need to master, and of course they might be the best champions of tomorrow utilizing recent modern tech. Thank you.
Thank you. Sharon, how can non-physical training help people who are not necessarily athletes?
Yeah, well, we've realized with athletes that 80 to 90% of decisions you make is based on vision. So we quickly realized that you need to train the input skills and the processing and the response skills. And in the work I've done, having tested elite athletes all over the world, we just presume because they're elite, they're good at everything. And in the work that I do, we've realized that the individual also has strengths and weaknesses in the system. Now, exactly the same, the non-sporting person also has strengths and weaknesses, and they also use their eyes to do whatever they do. So this is very much trainable for all individuals. And we work with people kids from 6 years old, and we've worked with people in their 90s. We actually had an old guy want to improve his driving skills to be able to redo his driver's license. So we work with every walk of life. And out of working with young athletes or young sports people, we quickly realized that we are training their learning academic skills, because the parents would be coming back and saying, wow, I know they've improved their sporting ability, but look here, the education results have also improved. So we know we improve how quickly you read, how quickly you process that information, and how effectively you comprehend and give it back. And then out of that, we've started working in different industries. So we work in insurance, big insurance companies, where we've brought down the loss ratio in claims because people train their visual cognitive skills and then improve their driving skills, which means less accidents. We also work in mining, where the miners who go down into the ground and do work, they do our gym prior to going down, and brought down the accident rate because they pick up information earlier and process it better and then respond better. We also improve productivity in big organizations, because if you can imagine, if we improve every individual by 1%, what impact that has on the productivity in business. And then, of course, in the day and age that we live today, there's a lot of screen time, overuse of screen time. The eyes and brain were never designed to do that. So we have found that iGym is an antidote to excessive screen time. In a 10-minute session of doing our gym, you can make between 500 and 600 decisions based on something you haven't seen before. So what we do, we force the eye to look, and it's got nothing to do with sight. We force the eye to take information in, and we force the brain to process it and the body to respond. So we impact input, process, response, and decision making. That is good for every individual. We all need it.
Thank you. Very important. We'll go back to you as an elite athlete. We see that in the past year or so, more and more athletes are openly speaking about their struggles with mental health, anxiety, stress. Naomi Osaka took a break from tennis. Simone Biles withdrew from several events during the Tokyo Olympics and so on. As an elite athlete, how do you think non-physical training can support athletes building their mental strength and resilience?
That's a tough question, a very good question. So I think that athletes are challenged more and more every day. And the pressure on them is enormous. And it's difficult to handle this pressure. So it's not enough today to just have a top physical body or to be in the best shape of the athlete. I think it's very important for them to understand they have to start to build their psychology in order to handle this pressure. Of course, one important part is education. I was very lucky enough to be in Barcelona when I was young, and they teach you since you are 10, 11, they teach you really, you may go to the first team, but 80, 90% of the kids, they will never do it. So you have to have something beside. You have to study. You have to know that you will fail. It's not the end of the world. You have to stand up again. And there's value that I appreciate more today than back then when I was 16. Okay? So, but another very important part is also what they are doing every day, how they work, with who they work. It's very important. So for us, in Mentis VR, in our team, we work very closely with psychologists, with neuroscientists, to develop products that will help the athletes to achieve a top mental performance. That's our goal. And once they do it, they will enter into a totally new level. And that's what we're working for.
Thank you, which leads me to the next question, and anyone can chime in here. What other psychological solutions can technology provide to help athletes to maximize their potential?
Maybe I can answer the. I think a lot of organizations invest significant time, energy, and financial resources into traditional training programs. The eyes and brain and decision-making skills are absolutely crucial in everything. The stuff that happens to you all the time. Train for those, those extra special stuff. So I think it's time for organizations to look beyond the traditional training methods. We've proven in our gym that you can train these skills. The training program is accessible because you do it online. You can train anywhere in the world, anytime. And I think it's just time to open people's eyes so that they can start looking at what's out there and what's really needed in this world that we live today to train athletes more effectively and individuals for that matter.
Thank you. Any other thoughts about other psychological aspects that technology can help in developing non-physical activities or non-physical abilities?
I think, I will speak as a former pro athlete. I think technology can help you, and that's the step with what we are facing, and what we have to do is to get more technological in the sport. And once your abilities get better, once your brain, for example, in our company, if you make better decisions on the field, if you are sharper, you are faster, this will lead to have more confidence in what you are doing. And obviously, if you're more confident on what you are doing, I mean, the level goes up and up and up. And I think we will face new generation of sports and athletes in general that have never been seen before.
Yes, I want to agree, if you don't mind, I want to agree with you there. We find that if you train skills you haven't trained before, you definitely perform better. If you improve the ability to take information in and process it better, you perform better. And if you perform better, you feel better. And if you feel better, it impacts your performance, and it becomes a circle of building confidence, which then ultimately affects
Exactly.
whatever you do.
Exactly.
I can't really agree more. And I think what we see now is that we know almost all best practices, how to build excellent athletes from the physical standpoint. But cognitively, mentally, we're still in the beginning of our journey because our understanding of that field is really premature, and we have like just tip of the iceberg. We work with like reaction time, some behavioral confidence, right? Elements of that, but more and more data we gain and obtain, more and more structural understanding and knowledge we acquire, the better solutions are there in the market, because now we measure and understand everything neck down, and it's time to incorporate something from neck up.
And as we're looking towards the future, do you think we will see more organization applying non-physical training moving forward?
I think it's next frontier of performance, definitely in the day and age we live today. And we find with a lot of people we deal with, mainly the elite athletes, is that because of access to all the technology, they're actually taking in a lot of information which has no value to them. So they go on, all these devices and all these programs and YouTube, etc., and they look at stuff which is not important to their performance. And if we can make sure that the eye and the brain system can be fitter and handle what's been thrown at the young people today, and all of us today, we can make them perform better. So I think it's an absolute crucial part of development and performance in the future.
Yeah. In my opinion, the brain is the next boundary that will cross very soon. And as soon organization, teams start to understand, they are understanding, they are starting to invest. We can see it in Mentis VR how happy are the teams that are using our product. And once they start realizing that you can reach a new total level, new generation of athletes, they will jump in with the close eyes. That's my opinion.
From my very short comment, and I see the future where we have the main issue is addiction to screen time, to like off the field but not relevant activities. And I want to find their opportunity to create useful off the field activities that would be scientifically driven and would be beneficial for users. For instance, in regarding to what we're doing in iBrain Technologies, I see a future where you go you go home after the training, you put on a baseball cap with your signs of your favorite team, and you connect to your avatar at your mobile phone, and you play the game. But this game makes you better athlete, makes you better person by developing brain skills. And this is why we work hard, and for that future we really work. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're getting closer to the summary of the session, and I want to give everyone a chance to say last word, last comments in a minute or two as we sum up the question. What kind of takeaways would you like to leave us with? Konstantin, let's start with you.
I think it's amazing to have that panel that really utilizes very different approaches in the modern cognitive training. We have like training, vision training, decision-making training, VR training, data-driven neuroscientific training. And this is state of the art. We have a long journey to convert that into the massive adoption of that type of very beneficial technologies. But it's very important that adoption in elite sport is already there. And the more we create value, real, measurable, tangible value for clubs, individual athletes, youth, the more Cristiano Ronaldos we build, the better would be for the whole professional, semi-professional, and even recreational athletes doing modern sports. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheryl?
Yeah, I think everyone has the potential to be great if you do the right stuff. And we have created a program that can not only impact performance, but it can also be an antidote to this crazy world that we live in, where we're abusing the eyes and the brain by doing, what we do nowadays. So it's really exciting. And as I say, we've worked with elite athletes all over the world. We've worked with young kids. We've worked with older people. We've worked with injured people, and we can really impact performance. And I think it's time to sit up and realize that this is the next frontier of how people can make themselves better and how we can change people's lives.
Thank you. Urko?
I agree 100% with what we said today. I think we are at the beginning of a very, very exciting journey. And I think we are not able still to visualize where we are going. It's very exciting because, as Konstantin said, once the benefit will be shown in the games, on the teams, on the field, is the whole industry who will get benefit, will get more attraction. And I think it's a win-win for everybody. So again, thank you to everyone. It was for us and for me personally a very rich experience, and I'm very glad to have participated.
So thank you. Thank you once again, everyone who joined us for the session on maximizing non-physical abilities. I hope you found it thought-provoking like I did. Thank you, Dr. Konstantin Sonkin, co-founder and CEO of iBrainTech, Dr. Cheryl Carter, founder and CEO of iGym, Urko Pardo, founder of Mentis VR. Thank you, Ashley Rose, for helping behind the scenes. Thank you to the entire Colosseum team for making this important summit an annual tradition. I'm Dr. Yoav Dubinsky from the Longquist College of Business at the University of Oregon, wishing all of you a lovely day and enjoy the rest of the Sportex Summit. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.